Two-stroke Yamaha 130 horsepower. Now we don't work on these anymore, but excuse me. This customer has some special needs and we wanted to help him in his life. So we decided we'd take a look at it. Went to a shade tree, had a shade tree, get him for $600 to rebuild his carburetors. I see some Amazon gaskets in there. The idle mixture screws, which I already checked, none of them were seated. This one was most of the way out, and they don't screw in all the way to seat. You would have to force them, potentially break one off. Our choke rod is held on with a piece of wire, and our O-ring to our choke valve was missing, to activate the choke. We haven't checked the synchronization. We did look inside. Looks like it's close. We did check the compression. We got about 150 pounds on each cylinder. We got great spark on all the cylinders. We have not run the engine. On this side, we immediately noticed that one nut is missing on this carburetor, and we go down and can't really see it, but it's down there. The other nut is missing on that bottom carburetor right there. We also see it has a new Chinese fuel pump, and somebody's gotten creative with the fuel line. This fuel line is actually kinked in half on the other side. Customers claiming the boat was bogging down. I'm sure it was, because this is about 90% kinked on the back side. This hose was left off, just goes to the air box, we do believe. And what else did we see? We've got some new fuel line on here, but this is not really US grade marine fuel line. It's actually some fuel injection hose made in China. And although it'll work, it ain't gonna work for long out in this environment. So what we're going to do, we don't know the condition of inside of those carburetors, but we can also see we've got a drain bowl plug here. Looks original, and then we got a different kind of drain bowl plug there, which also is original, but for different year models of the engines. So we're not sure exactly what's been done inside these carburetors. The gasoline smells like it's about 1,000 years old, and we see some evidence of gasoline leaking right there, and that looks like old gas. So maybe he had the work done some time ago and the engine's been sitting, but the gas is no good in the engine. We have not checked the lower unit. The trim does work.
The shift control cables had their time.
Control cables are shot. They're done. Transom is got some rotted wood in it, and it's flexing pretty bad.
Battery's low and has a
Battery was
right
dead and bad connection. Multiple connections. Of course, everything can be fixed. Some pretty bad connections on the battery.
I was the one that
We had to jumper it. The tire on the trailer is completely flat. And that's our initial findings. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a plan here. Probably we'll just disconnect the fuel line, run it on our shop gas. We'll do a premix. Even though it's got an oiling system, we're going to premix it just in case it's not working. And we're going to start it up and run it. After we fix this kink line, we're going to see how it acts. If it acts pretty good and we can get the carburetors adjusted and idling properly, he said he was having some idle problems, then we'll take it back to the run tank, dip it in the water, put it under a load, and see what happens from there. Anyway, you got to watch those shade tree mechanics, boy. They get all this hype on Facebook. Oh, yeah, so-and-so did me great. He's awesome. He's this, he's that. A lot of these people don't even know what a good mechanic looks like, and you go buy a boat and you get a used boat and you got a problem with it, and you get some shade tree dude and he comes over there and puts you a water pump in it and changes your freaking gear oil and puts some spark plugs and changes your fuel line and charges you $600 freaking dollars. And you think you got a good deal because your motor runs. Well, try to call them back after you have a problem, and you're going to end up at a reputable shop paying a bit more, but you know what? It's going to get fixed right. So, hey, some of those shade trees, I mean, I don't know who is going to be good. Haven't seen one that's just awesome yet, but I'm sure there are some good ones. Just wouldn't know where to find them. Certainly not on Facebook.